The London Chess Classics have come to an end, and if you have been following me, you know that I trained a lot, I prepared well, at least this is what I think or thought, and if you have followed the event, you know that the results were pretty bad for me. I just scored 1.5 points out of 8 games. Officially, I had 2.5 points, but I got a bye in round 6. It was a double round, so never mind. I was happy to save some energy. And as you might hear, I caught a cold. However, this is by no means any explanation for my bad performance, because actually after catching this illness, I won the only game which I won. So there's probably many other explanations which rely fully on me, such as going into difficult to handle positions. And in this video, we want to sum up everything. You will be given 10 test positions from the event, my games, and you're supposed to find the best moves and let me know. Or regarding the result, I had the feeling that I did lots of things wrong. So yeah, let me know in the comment section what you would play in these positions. Then we will talk about my opponents. I played against a very famous streamer in round 2. And then we will talk about the venue and the tournament atmosphere. And just as a spoiler, this is no advertisement, the tournament was great. And if you get the chance to participate there, do so. So now let's start with the test positions. In this position, it is white's turn, and your task is to find 3 candidate moves. And after finding those 3 candidate moves, to rank them from best to the worst. And obviously here, this knight on d4 is attacking the bishop on f3. So as mentioned, your task is to find 3 playable moves and to rank them from the best to the least best, the worst. This is puzzle number 1. Now, let's go to puzzle number 2. In this position again, it is white's turn, and here your task is to figure out if you would like to capture with the pawn on f4 or with the bishop. It is not as easy as it might look like on the surface. So make sure to take your time and understand the differences between both moves and black's follow-up, and let me know in the comment section what you would do in puzzle number 2. Now to game number 2, black's turn here. And the question is, should black go knight to g4, or should black continue with something normal such as a6? So this is position number 3. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this. Knight to g4 or a6. Now to position number 4 from the 3rd round, white to move. In the game, I played knight takes g6. Can you find better moves? And the reason why I speak about plural, about moves and not move, is because there are several much better moves here. So let me know what you think about this position and what you would play here. Position number 5 from the 4th game. It is again black's turn. Black is struggling a little bit. Black is worse developed, and black should find a good continuation that makes sure that black stays in the game. There is really only one move that makes sure that black stays in the game. By the way, my opponent, a FIDE master, missed the continuation. So black should be absolutely fine in this position if you find the right move. The next one, again, it is white's turn. Here you see that the bishop is being attacked, the bishop on g5. The question is, what does white do? Does he take on e7? Does he go back to d2? Does he go back to c1? Or does white play pawn h4? Maybe even pawn f4? Let me know what you think. Next one, it is black to move. Black is attacking, but black is also down a piece. How would you continue the attack? And this position is crucial. Black should find the right move, so the position stays, and this will maybe surprise you, equal. So if white defends the best way, assuming that black finds the next move, if white defends the best way, then the position is around equal. Black to move, find the strongest move here to continue the attack. And this position here, again, white to move. What should white do here? I will give you a hint. During the game, white always wanted to play f4, but black might have f5 resources. So white would like to find a way to make f4 playable. So white to move, find the best move here. And now to the 10th position, it is black's move. And black, I believe, has only one way to play for a win here, and he needs to find the next move. Otherwise it's becoming very, very difficult even to defend the position, in my opinion. Here I was low on time, and to be honest, I didn't find the right. So here you had 10 positions, try to solve them. Let me know in the comment section what you're thinking. I'm very interested in your opinion. I would love to see what you are thinking, how you are evaluating the positions. Let's talk about against who I played. In the first round, as usual in this Swiss format, I played against someone very strong, FIDE master Niels Willems from France, and I got a rather good position and then just mistreated it completely and finally lost the game. On the second day, there was a double round, and in the morning, I played against Anna Maya Kazarian from the Netherlands, and there I just played very badly straight from the opening, and she knew that I committed a mistake. She knew that my move was a mistake, but she didn't know how to punish it, despite the fact she did a pretty good job. And apart from all these, she played an incredible tournament, scored an international master norm. So I believe this game I had lost for sure because she was in such a good shape. There was not really any chance for me. The third game was against a very young player, Louis Udi, I hope I pronounced the name correctly, from Sweden. And there I had pretty good chances, but I believe I just chose the wrong position to play on. It was very difficult, and in time trouble, I lost badly. And there was also some misevaluations, but in the upcoming videos, you will see what I mean by this. And something that was permanently present was my horrible time trouble, despite the fact that my coach had told me, do not run into time trouble, because these opponents are very strong and know how to use that. The fourth round was against FIDE master Andrew Smith from Ireland. And despite the fact that I got a draw, the game was everything but good. I got surprised, and then I chose a bad variation or bad setup against a very aggressive opening. What happened then was basically that he missed a few opportunities, and I somehow escaped into an endgame, and then I got too ambitious and tried to win. And then in the end, I offered a draw because he escaped. And after escaping, it was actually him who was playing for a win. But luckily, he wasn't able to figure it out and accept the draw. In the fifth round, I played a young Indian, Badrinath. He surprised me. He after the game, he told me he assumed that I would go for King's Indian setup with white, so King's Indian attack setup. And he was right. I should have done maybe something different. But despite running into his preparation, I got a pretty decent position. And due to a wrong exchange in the late middle game, or in the middle game, not late middle game, pardon me, I still lost that game. And if you have just half a point out of 5 games, you get usually a bye. At least I believe now after 5 rounds and only half a point, I should have a bye, and I got the bye. Here. This was also a double round, 5th and 6th. So I was free in the afternoon. I was offered to play the Blitz event, which was taking place at 6 p.m., I believe. But after getting a bye, playing so badly, I didn't really want to participate in a Blitz event because my chess was already in a horrible state. Playing Blitz would probably make things even worse. 7th round was against Oisin Okulinane. I'm sure I pronounced that name very wrong. A very young player in his 20s, I believe, and I ran into his preparation and he was blitzing out the moves. But in the middle game, I proved to be a little bit more resourceful than him and got to sacrifice a piece, accepting it was bad. And as a result, I just had a very pleasant attacking position he had to defend it. He missed the key idea, and then the game was basically over. Maybe funny to mention here is there was a mistake in the transmission. So the last move of the game is rook g4, I believe, but I had taken on g2, so there was no rook g4 played. The 8th round was very interesting. I had figured out that my opponent, a young German player, 17 or 18, something like that, Jan Fortmeier, very strong, 2150, was playing the King's Indian setups according to Gawain Jones. So I went into that course. I tried to figure out a line that he will not expect. So I played first d4, went into his King's Indian preparation. And I had prepared a very interesting idea that is not mentioned by Gawain Jones at all. Unfortunately, he played something worse than Gawain Jones's suggestion around move 13. And then I was out of preparation. Despite the fact that I was up on the clock by almost 40 minutes, I still somehow managed to burn time on the most logical moves and end up in time trouble myself. And towards the end, he just proved to be the stronger player in time trouble. In the last round, I ran straight into the preparation of my opponent, which was very unpleasant. I took my time. I believe I got a position which was acceptable and somehow part of my repertoire. The thing is that the position remained complex and I did a mistake. My opponent didn't really exploit that. And towards the end, he sacrificed. I could have played for a win, but instead I just blundered the game away, basically, and lost it. So these were the rounds. So now the reasons, probable reasons. I think I trained really well. But when the event started, I just felt I just didn't have the drive that I usually have. And maybe I was just burnt out to a certain degree. It wasn't a very bad burnout. It was just the drive was missing. And my opponents were clearly very strong. And I talked with other strong players. I was told that my calculation and tactics was more or less okay, or even better than my level. However, things were not as good when it came to getting good positions, because my positions were very often equal, or slightly better, slightly worse, but very difficult to handle. As mentioned, the second round was just an opening catastrophe, and the rest I could have made points, because I had the feeling that in the second half, where I caught this cold or whatever it is, I started playing better. Yeah, so maybe burnt out, maybe, I don't know, whatever. Sleep was more or less okay. The venue was for sure not an issue, because this was by far the best organized tournament I've ever played. The organizers provided a file before the start of the event where you could look up how to deal with such things as mobile phones, because they were forbidden, earphones, and one was told that you can hand in your bags. So the organization, in my opinion, was brilliant, and for sure it was the best I have ever attended when it comes to organization. And the arbiters were very nice, sorting out. There was an incident around round 8, I believe. Yeah, it was round 8. It was Smirin against Rosen, I believe, when not a fight erupted, but they started talking during the game, which seemed very strange. At least I assume it was during the game, because the clock was running, and then the arbiters rushed there, solved very quickly, and there were actually no issues. So the arbiters were very professional stuff, very good. There were even one or two people always standing or sitting there and reminding you when you were entering not to take a mobile phone or whatever, no electronic device with you. The only thing that I disliked was the quality of my games. Let us start by analyzing the games from the next video. I'm looking forward to doing that with you. And I also look forward to seeing your answers in the comment section. See you in the next video.